Life in America before Columbus. Native Americans had advanced cultures and civilizations. The Americas were not sparsely populated. Over 50 million people were living there in 1492. The Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan, may have had over 200,000 people. This was their way of life. The first American civilization was the Olmecs. They lived in Mexico's Veracruz state. After them came many civilizations. The Aztecs were the Mexica people. They gave Mexico its name. The Aztecs were sophisticated. Their society was divided into nobles, commoners, serfs, and slaves. The emperor, or Huitlahuachtli, was the highest ruler. The Aztecs used pictograms, calendars, and math. They played the ball game, Tlachtli. It was a bit like basketball. The ball represented the sun. The game was sometimes used for rituals. Women married young, but could own property. They worked as merchants and doctors. Native Americans built huge cities and temples. These were centers of trade, politics, religion, and culture. Cahokia had around 40,000 people. Tenochtitlan had 200,000. At the time, even Europe's greatest cities rarely housed more than 100,000. Venice wouldn't be connected to the mainland until the 20th century, but Tenochtitlan was already joined to the shore. Native Americans are sometimes seen as peaceful, but pre-Columbian America was violent. Some natives practiced human sacrifice. Pawnee sacrificed captive girls into the 1800s, but no one was as bad as the Aztecs. Their temples smelled worse than slaughterhouses, said Castillo. The Great Temple was stained with blood. Its platform had burned hearts and coagulated blood. Spanish accounts seemed exaggerated, but archaeologists proved them true. They found skull racks and bone rooms in ruins. The Aztecs believed they owed a debt of blood to the gods. Sacrifice ensured the sun rose and life continued. The Aztecs' main food was corn. They also grew beans, squash, tomatoes, chilies, and avocados. The Maya were another great civilization. They carved stone hieroglyphs and made paper books. These recorded history, calendars, astronomy, and rituals. The Maya came up with the concept of zero. They calculated dates and astronomical events. There was also the Inca Empire. Its capital, Cusco, was high in the Andes. The Incas built over 25,000 miles of roads. They used knotted quipu strings to record data. They grew corn, potatoes, quinoa, beans, peanuts, and peppers. Eventually, the Americas' great civilizations fell. Scholars credit Europeans' military power, but most natives were actually killed by disease. They had never dealt with flu, diphtheria, smallpox, malaria, and more. When the colonists arrived, massive outbreaks erupted. These epidemics first ravaged Mexico and Peru. They helped weaken the mighty Aztec and Inca empires. Native tribes had zero previous exposure or immunity. Their populations were decimated. By the mid-1600s, 95% of indigenous Americans were dead, but they did leave Europeans a parting gift. Native populations brought new diseases to Europe. One was the venereal Great Pox. Today, it's better known as syphilis.